What is the root cause of our unhappiness? Everyone today is chasing happiness. Bigger homes, more money, better relationships, new experiences, constant distractions. Yet, despite having more than any generation before us, unhappiness is everywhere. Anxiety is rising. Depression is widespread. People feel empty inside. Even the most successful silently suffer. So the question is, why? What is the real root cause of our unhappiness? Today, we are going very deep. The invisible forces that drive human suffering, the five inner passions that rob our peace. My personal experiences fighting these forces, modern day real examples, and 10 ways to break free from these chains and experience true happiness. By the end of this video, you'll understand your unhappiness is not coming from life itself, it's coming from what you're carrying inside. Let me discuss my personal experience with unhappiness. Earlier in my life, I built businesses. I chased financial success. I wanted recognition, respect, and security. I believed that once I made it, I would be happy. For a time, it worked externally. But inside, I felt restless. Fear of loss haunted me. Relationships suffered. My mind was constantly busy. Anxiety quietly followed every win. Then came 2008. My businesses collapsed. Bankruptcy struck. My health broke down. I was left with nothing to hide behind, and I had to face my own inner emptiness. It was in that moment of complete surrender that I began studying deeply into spirituality. And there I discovered the root cause of my unhappiness was never external, it was inside me all along. The five passions that create unhappiness. Across many spiritual traditions, especially in Sikhism, Hinduism, Buddhism, and other wisdom paths, the root causes of unhappiness are identified as the five inner thieves. 1. Greed, lobh. 2. Lust, kam. 3. Attachment, moh. 4. Anger, krodh. 5. Pride, ahankar. These five passions enslave the human soul, blocking peace, clarity, and divine connection. 1. Greed, lobh. Greed says, more will make me happy. Once I get a little more, I'll finally feel full. But greed is never satisfied. It always wants more. Let's take a modern day example. Bernie Madoff built one of the biggest financial scams in history. Made billions, but his greed led to his downfall. Died in prison, his reputation permanently destroyed. Corporate executives who destroy companies, cut corners, and manipulate for personal gain, only to lose everything when exposed. Greed creates temporary highs, but permanent emptiness. Do lust, calm. Lust says, pleasure will bring me peace. If I satisfy this desire, I'll be content. But lust grows stronger the more it's fed, leaving the soul more restless each time. Modern day example, celebrities and influencers trapped in endless cycles of failed relationships, addictions, and scandals because lust controls their choices. Tiger Woods, at the peak of his career, personal scandals caused public collapse, strained relationships, and years of rebuilding. Lust pretends to satisfy, but always leaves you emptier than before. 3. Attachment, more. Attachment says, I cannot live without this person, possession, or status. My happiness depends on having this. Attachment makes your peace dependent on things you cannot fully control. Modern day example. Parents overly attached to children's success who fall into depression when their children fail or move away. Businessmen who lose their companies and fall into despair because their identity was tied entirely to their career. My own experience when I lost my businesses in 2008, I was attached to my financial identity. When it collapsed, so did my inner stability. Attachment creates fragile happiness, constantly threatened by life's changes. 4. Anger, krodh. Anger says, I am right, they are wrong. I must punish or correct others to feel peace. but anger burns the one who carries it more than the one it targets. Modern day example: Will Smith's Oscar incident. One moment of uncontrolled anger cost him reputation, career opportunities, and global respect. Road rage incidents where small triggers escalate into life altering violence. Anger promises power but delivers destruction. Panch pride, ahankar. Pride says, I am above others. I deserve special treatment. Look at what I have achieved. Pride blinds you to your own flaws, making correction impossible and downfall inevitable. Modern day example: CEOs and politicians who fall from power due to scandals rooted in arrogance. Leaders who refuse wise counsel, believing they know everything, only to watch their organizations collapse. My own early career mistakes, thinking my success was entirely self made, leading to my eventual collapse. Pride stands tallest before it falls hardest. Let me share with you a classic tale: The Cup That's Already Full. A student approached a master for wisdom. The master poured tea into the student's cup until it overflowed. The student said, It's spilling over. The master replied, Like this cup, your mind is full of your own pride. Until you empty it, I cannot fill you. Pride prevents receiving true wisdom. The paradox of these five passions: the more you chase their promises, the further you drift from peace. They offer instant gratification, but rob you of lasting joy. They are like sugar for the soul, sweet at first, but toxic over time. Spiritual teachings on the five passions. Christianity: for everything in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life comes not from the Father. 1 John 2:16. Islam: do not follow desire, for it will mislead you. Quran 38:26. Hinduism: Gita: desire leads to anger, anger leads to delusion, delusion leads to the loss of wisdom. Gita 2:62 to 63. Buddhism: craving and attachment are the roots of suffering. Sikhism: conquer lust, anger, greed, attachment, and ego, and you shall find peace, the real root cause of our unhappiness. We are not victims of life. We are prisoners of these five inner thieves. They drive our decisions. They distort our priorities. They make us chase illusions. They blind us to the present moment. They trap us in cycles of suffering. My personal freedom came when I faced these five forces honestly within myself. I studied deeply into spiritual wisdom. I humbled my ego. I focused on service over selfishness. I surrendered fully to God's plan. The result was not instant, but day by day, my peace returned. Modern day society, a world controlled by the five passions. Social media fuels pride and attachment. Advertising feeds greed and lust. News and politics fuel anger. Consumerism feeds attachment and greed. We are surrounded daily by systems designed to feed these passions, making conscious discipline even more critical. Here are now 10 practical steps to break free from the five passions and find true happiness. One practice: daily self examination. Ask yourself honestly: where am I greedy? Where am I prideful? Where am I attached? Awareness is the beginning of freedom. Two, embrace minimalism. Reduce unnecessary possessions and desires. Greed weakens when you simplify. Three, control sexual desires. Guard your eyes, mind, and relationships with discipline. Lust weakens when the mind is purified. Practice detachment. Daily learn to let go of outcomes, people, and possessions gracefully. Attachment loses power when you surrender. 5. Discipline your anger. Response: pause before reacting, pray for calmness, walk away when necessary. 6. Humble yourself. Intentionally remind yourself all success is by God's grace, not my own greatness. 7. Serve others selflessly. Service dissolves selfishness. 8. Stay spiritually anchored. Daily pray, meditate, study scriptures. Your spiritual root weakens the 5 passions. 9. Surround yourself with spiritually grounded people. Your environment will either fuel or weaken these passions. Surrender, control fully to God. Pray daily. God, empty me of these passions and fill me with your peace. Another classic story, the monkey trap. Hunters would place food in a small cage. The monkey could grab the food but not pull its hand out unless it released the food. Like the monkey, we trap ourselves when we refuse to release these 5 passions. The spiritual paradox of happiness. True happiness comes not from adding more, but from releasing more. Less desire, less ego, less attachment, more peace. So let's recap. The root cause of unhappiness is not external. The 5 passions, greed, lust, attachment, anger, and pride, control our suffering. Every spiritual path warns against these forces. Modern life constantly feeds them. Freedom requires daily conscious discipline, humility, and surrender. My final reflection. I once chased wealth blindly, fed my ego with success, attached my identity to business and status. It collapsed and nearly destroyed me. Today, I live in service. I practice detachment. I surrender to God's will. I experience real peace, not because life is perfect, but because my inner world is calm. Happiness was never found in what I chased, it was found in what I surrendered. Closing call to action. If you're ready to break free from these passions, write in the comments, I choose surrender over desire. Like, subscribe, and share this with anyone who feels trapped in unhappiness. And if you want to go even deeper, watch my next video. What is the difference between average and top performance?